there were challenges at the beginning of county government, but that one is no justification for poor performance in terms of incomplete projects in Timau. In fact, the issue of land asset, that one, the asset register must be looked. The issue of waste, Mr. Speaker, and I don't know, this is a very simple thing. The incinerator, to manage the waste that comes from the hospital, like syringes, like other waste that are generated from Timau, Mr. Speaker. That is of particular concern. Mr. Speaker, let me go to Kibiricha Sub-County Hospital. There are similar issues in pharmaceutical and supply chains, Mr. Speaker, infrastructure and equipment. In fact, there are no theaters and laundry, Mr. Speaker. Even washing bed sheets in Kibiricha that has used in Sub-County Hospital is not being done, and non-functional, raising concern. So, Speaker, I agree that the issue of human resources is a cross-cutting issue among this hospital. The issue of pharmacy and drugs is still a problem in Kibiricha, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of ambulance is only one that is functional in Kibiricha Sub-County Hospital. And you can imagine the population of Meru County is quite significant. So you have only one ambulance in Kibiricha which is operational, and the allegations we are getting is that apart from expired drugs, you must pay to use that ambulance. Just what we do in Nandi. In Nandi, if you have to use an ambulance in any facility, you must give out 1,000 for fuel, which I found it very unfortunate in this day and era, undermining Article 43 of the Constitution. Finally, Speaker, is to conclude with Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital. The issue of mortuary is still a problem. Mental health services, inpatient and psychiatric, Mr. Speaker, and they are getting from Mandera. But, Mr. Speaker, this issue of mental health is very critical. It is very important. Mental health we must take. There is so depression. People are committing suicide, Mr. Speaker, as we even approach to elections. People who lose elections, they also need mental health care, Mr. Speaker. There is postpartum issues of mental health care, Mr. Speaker. I have seen one of our colleagues is almost getting mental problems over Malava, Mr. Speaker, elections. So this issue of mental should be taken seriously, Mr. Speaker. It's a serious issue. The depression is real. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm not allowed to name without substantive motion understanding order 101. No, you know that the person I'm referring to. Mr. Speaker, the issue of ICU, issue of maternity. Mr. Speaker, God has commanded us in Genesis, just 1 minute so that I conclude. God has commanded us in Genesis that we must fill the earth. The people of Meru deserves better maternity services to ensure they continue to procreate for numbers and even for God ordained, Mr. Speaker. The issue of oncology and cancer center, those are issues, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, by and large, this report has really give detail, and I hope colleagues I would want to sit and listen. As I second, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate the committee for this wonderful report and thank the committee. As we go to New Year, please make sure you visit a number of facilities across, Mr. Speaker. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, it is now my humble duty and honor to second this report on the Standing Committee on Health on the county oversight and network engagements in Laikipia and Meru counties. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate endorse the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the county oversight networking engagements in Laikipia and Meru counties, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 11th November 2025. So now I call upon Senators wishing to contribute. Let me start with this senior Linda Cheruiyot Tarun Kipkurui, so that you can go and do other duties of the nation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's why with age comes wisdom.
Of course, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I must appreciate you. Mr. Speaker, I must first begin by commending the Committee on Health. This is one of the most active committees of this House, and I appreciate, Mr. Speaker, that consistently they bring reports to this House laying bare the true state of the nation and the true state of devolution as expected by our Constitution in Article 96, Mr. Speaker. We represent counties and their interest. Mr. Speaker, I must appreciate that the county governments continue to struggle. And indeed, Senator Cherargei is right when he exposes that the true measure of performance at county level is provision of health services. That if you want to know a county governor who is working, Mr. Speaker, you check on the state of health facilities in their county. And if you also want to know a thief of a county governor and the county government, Mr. Speaker, you see the operations. You will hear it. Because one of the most difficult things to hide, Mr. Speaker, is provision of health services, because it is immediate. And when people walk into health facilities, they can tell whether that health facility is working or not working, Mr. Speaker. And I must appreciate this new way of working by our committees in the form of field studies. Because I see every week a particular committee is visiting a county. They are checking on ECD centers, the Committee on Education. You find the Committee on Trade. I saw another time they were checking on markets and things like that, much as many of the markets are actually being built by national government. It is my hope that between this December recess, we will manage to convince our colleagues in the National Assembly, as they pass the budget, to at least part of the portion of the, what is it called, Affordable Housing Fund that is being used to develop markets, it should be part of what is being devolved to counties. I understand their concerns about the costing and all these things, the quality of the works that should be done. But I read the report and I have listened to the, I don't know if you listened, Senator Mungatana, to the leadership atop the Ministry of Lands and Housing. And one of the things they struggle with, they said it's, as a procuring entity, the nature of the contracts that they have to enter runs into the 100. I believe counties have capacity. We should allow them to do some of these things. We can agree and say these are the standardized costs beyond which a market shouldn't go beyond, like what Public Works used to do back in the day when things were working well before corruption took over the public sector. Because again, you know, counties have shown us things, Senator Mtata. If you leave it free for all, you will see a two-story building and you are told it consumed 1.6 billion shillings. And the governor will proudly walk to open it. So we must set the checks and balances without denying counties the necessary support to perform functions which we know they are able to. Like procuring of markets is something that I am deeply convinced, and I say this in public, I say it in private. I have told my colleagues from the National Assembly, I have told Kimani Ichung'wah many times about this. I have said it even in meetings where the president is, that from our perspective as a Senate, in some of these nationally rolled out programs, Mr. Speaker, some of them are better run by county governments, so long as we set the necessary checks to ensure that the original dream and vision is not lost, particularly on issues to do with cost, with the standards, and the time frame which it takes to execute some of them. Some of the counties actually, Mr. Speaker, will shock you. They will execute it way faster than the national government. Part of the struggle the national government, by insisting on holding on to these funds, continues to face is that the supervisory element of those funds is very low. For example, the markets that President William Ruto launched in my own county of Kericho, none of them is beyond 30–40%. Here they were launched, I think, at the beginning of this year. I believe if those funds were being administered at the county level, Mr. Speaker, today that contractor will almost be finishing. And we need to send them as just conditional grants so that they are not diverted to do other things. It should be known, for example, that these are specifically for building markets in Taita Taveta. These are the number of markets that they need to build. We know this is a costing that has been done, and the counties procure competitive, so that you give even a chance for local entrepreneurs from Mololwe and Voi, Senator Maruma, to compete for those programs. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to divert from the original report. I was just speaking to the point that it is in the place of this House to speak for devolution and to make sure that we work to ensure that devolution succeeds in this country. Mr. Speaker, I make the case this afternoon having read this report, that the Senate's Health Committee have actually overdone themselves. And I appreciate them, Mr. Speaker, that what began as an innocent venture out to counties, because I know how this field visit began. They said, let us just explore and learn, has given them a lot of insight on the operation of health facilities in our county, Mr. Speaker. And the sorry state that exists. You know, the unfortunate thing, colleagues, senators, is the fact that we should never lose sight of how it feels when to be an ordinary citizen. You know, as leaders, our life ordinarily is made very comfortable. You have a health cover. When you're unwell, takes care of you, takes care of your children. I don't remember the last time, for example, on account of at least good health, Mr. Speaker, that I struggled with a medical bill of my own immediate family. That ought to be the dream of the people that we represent, and not just us as leaders alone. And it ought to be the work that we strive each and every day, Senator Mungatana, to ensure that we achieve that, particularly for the rural folks that we represent, you and I, and the rest of us that come from parts of the country that you can easily refer to as the forgotten corners of a country. Mr. Speaker, this report speaks about two counties, the county of Laikipia and Meru. Yet, you could easily remove the name Laikipia and Meru, and it will be the story of every other, each of the 47 devolved units. Mortuaries that are not working, drug refill rates that are below 50%, Mr. Speaker, dilapidated facilities in those health centers. And that is a dream. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I continue to insist that if there is a report that I'm looking forward to, Senator Mungatana, is a report that CS Duale will table on the operations of SHA for the last 1 year. And when he was in this house, I think this is the 10th time, I don't think I've ever repeated a point like I am about to do this one on a particular topic like I'm doing on this one. That report must contain compensation to the public health facilities in all our counties and how much they have received in compensation for the last 1 year. So that I'm able to go back to my people and tell them, the more you register and visit and make use of your public health facilities, the more compensation they get. And when they are compensated, if you put that money to prudent use, Mr. Speaker, then you improve the status of that facility. Because many facilities, I gave the example one time of a time I visited the Kericho County Referral Hospital, Mr. Speaker. And the medical superintendent told me, one of the things that they appreciate most about SHA is that on a monthly basis, they would have to write off bills ranging from 7 to 10 million shillings. That is citizens who have been treated, then after they have recovered, when they are presented with the bill, they say, I don't have medical cover, I have no way of meeting this bill. The social worker detains them for a week. The second week, then they realize it is even expensive because when you keep them there, you have to feed them. It is more expensive than keeping them in hospital. They are just released. But thanks to SHA, that bill that a million shillings, because many of the patients that were coming at that time, and this is about 3 or 4 months after the launch of SHA, when I visited that hospital, were presenting their registration. And they were getting 50, 60, 70% of their bills being paid, particularly in health facilities, in public health facilities, Mr. Speaker. And that helped to stabilize things. Remember, secondly, and I say this to our colleagues, Senator Sifuna and the rest, who have a different view of this SHA, earlier, Mr. Speaker, that on account of compensation to public institutions, that is the genius of SHA and something that ought to be supported. Why? Because when you put resources into public institutions and ensure that they are put to prudent use, Mr. Speaker, then those facilities improve naturally. They are able to buy linen, they are able to restock the medicine supplies, they are able to pay their personnel, they can keep a clean health facility, Mr. Speaker, they can do capital projects, if they build sufficient capital, Mr. Speaker, things that they will never have dreamt about if that program hadn't been sufficiently run, Mr. Speaker. The second and most important thing about this that you're speaking about today, Mr. Speaker, is the drug refill rate. I have seen for Laikipia, they said in the 2 facilities they visited, one was at 40%, the other one was at, I think 30, Mr. Speaker, which is rather unfortunate because it basically means after the diagnosis, the patients actually, Mr. Speaker, have to go to buy medicine from a chemist outside that health facility. And most of the time that chemist is owned by the same medical personnel that work in those public institutions. I hope that somehow, because I know this is something that the President has spoken about, he did make a mention of it in the State of the Nation address, on the partnership between county governments and KEMSA, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we have a higher refill rate in our public institutions, as such that because they are now guaranteed of payment, unlike the past case where there was no guarantee of payment by users of public health facilities, at least the numbers are better now, Mr. Speaker, and there are lesser people.
Work is a pain in the apps. My files are in this app, my chat's in this app, projects in that app. Oh!
Wow. You're really working your apps off, Daniel. You need ClickUp. ClickUp is the AI-powered work platform that unifies your entire team and all your tools together.
Somebody who's been very active on the ground and has been an active participant on matters of governance and public policy and politics at Bunge la Mwananchi is Joachim Simiyu, who is now the Secretary General of Safina Party. He's our guest this morning. Joachim, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
Good to see you.
Yes, yes.
Unaka pesa. The economy is doing well. World Bank